Hi, what is up YouTube? Today I'm going to go over how to get the Energizer achievement in Outlast on the Xbox One. And for this we're going to have to finish the game in insane mode without reloading the camera batteries. Now, in doing so we're also going to go ahead and get the Lunatic achievement, which is finish the game on insane mode. And because we're going to be speedrunning this, I prefer to stay on the move, kiting my enemies, luring them around, and so since I will not be hiding under a bed or in a locker, we will also be getting the Claustrophobe achievement. Alright. For anyone that is playing through this game for their first time, you're in the wrong place. This is for people who have gone through the campaign several times, and there's no surprises. You will know what's coming. I skip a lot of the cutscenes. I don't go for documents or recordings or notes or anything. This is strictly just running straight through, and it takes a little over an hour. Now there are a few areas that you will have to be able to navigate in complete darkness, some of which can actually be quite challenging and require you to actually go back and play them several times until you understand the layout. I strongly recommend you go back on an easier difficulty, make saves, and practice the places you know that you have trouble in. Whenever I was trying for the Lunatic achievement, when you have to complete the game on insane mode, I was following a video that, and I'll post that up in the link too, which one I was actually following, and there were some things that he did that I agreed with and some things that I did astray from what he was doing, but not fully understanding the map and the way that the AIs acted really set me back. It caused me to mess up quite a few times. So you know where your strong points are on the map and what you need help with and what you need to work on. So be sure that you're confident that you can make it through this in one go, that you won't make these mistakes. The game itself, after you play through it a few times, it's not scary. So it comes down to you knowing what is going on. Now here, this is the first time we meet Father Westboro, and little do you know this will be the first time that he will have his way with you. From here we're going to go ahead and take a left through this computer room, and we're going to go fetch the security keycard from the guy in the back. And once we have the key card, we're just going to go ahead and head back the way that we came from and on over into the security room. Now these points, when I don't fast forward through a cutscene, it's meant to keep the video continuous instead of just kind of jumping forward through the middle of actual gameplay, but also it acts as a stopping point, more or less a checkpoint for you, the viewer. And so while you have your game paused and you're following what I do in the video, then you can stop at these points and then catch up to that. I do this because every time I just get a chuckle out of seeing this guy fall. It's not necessary. I mean, it is a secret achievement, so feel free to do that though, if you haven't already. In here is the first of two places where you can actually die, and this is actually the first place we encounter Chris Walker where he can actually kill us. And so, since we're trying not to hide in the locker because we want the Claustrophobe achievement, we have to find a way around him. Now, I've tried hiding in the corner of the room, on other sides of the doors and everything, and it just, every time he busts through the door, either he grabs you, or if you're too close, he shoves you out in front of it. So, a way that I found to do this that works every single time is go into this window ledge, and then you go up against the wall and move as close to the door as you can, and you'll be stopped by the door hinge. And then what you do is you press the button to stand up. Now you'll be unable to stand up, but when he busts through the door, it'll only push you a little bit away from it. And then you'll automatically be in the standing position. You can just sprint straight out. Now if you were crouched there usually, or you were standing up and you were not underneath that ledge like that, it would just throw you across the room where he'd grab you immediately. And so this is the way around that where you won't be touched by him. And then now here we actually have to activate the generator. So what I do is I go over to the right and I'm looking for these doors, the light coming from the top of them. That's how I know where they're at. And that's what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit both of these before that guy comes and breaks down that other door. So I'm going to run over here and I look to my right and I see the glimmer of light coming through the top of that door. And there are things like that all throughout the campaign in order to help you out, to tell you where to go without having to use your camcorder. So then I'm going to go ahead and run back over behind this blue barrel. It's in the left side of the room, to the left of the door if you're looking at it while inside the room. And then I'm going to wait for him to go ahead and come into view. And once he does that, I'm going to walk around until I see the light, and then I'm going to make a sprint for it. Now this is the one place I'd recommend using your camera, just for a brief moment. There's a little jump here I always get stuck on, and then also right here, again for this other jump. And then hug the left wall until you see the door. Open it, and then go ahead and slam it behind you. Now, from here, we're going to go ahead and flip the switch, and then I'm going to go ahead and stand on the left side of the door that I just came through as he busts through it. And the reason for this is as soon as he busts through this door, I'm then going to go ahead and sprint right out behind him. Now, I had my camera ready in case I got hung up, but I've done this so many times, I pretty much know where everything is. And once you get here, and you see the light, you'll have no problem. You're going to go ahead, run up, press the button, and then he sometimes will be right there, and so I just jump right over him. Don't have to worry about it. He might smack you once, but he's one of those enemies where you can take a hit from him and still run past him. And as you'll see later on, we're actually going to take advantage of that to get around people in a much more timely fashion rather than having to kite them or run away. Now in here, Father Westboro is going to come up. He's going to roof you, take you back to his place, have his way with you again, and then from there you're going to go ahead and awaken from your date rape. You're going to find yourself in his cell, grab your camera, go up to the door, and just wait for the guy to unlock it for you. And then once you do that, we're just going to jump straight down and go through the second door on our left. And from there, there's going to be the crack in the wall. What we're going to do from here is we're going to take a left, and we're actually going to jump up. There's two things you got to jump up, a crate and then up on this ledge, and then I'm going to crouch to find my way. I actually fell back in here, and you can see me jumping back up. But then what I do is I crouch to maneuver around this crack to see where I'm going. Now, being able to see while crouched and also, and damn that chair, I always get stuck on it. Being able to see while crouched and up against walls in the dark, that's going to become very useful later on. And so we'll actually use that quite a few times to maneuver around places where we won't have to use our camera. And we'll actually save the battery life on that. And so this is actually one of the benefits of having your gamma turned all the way up in the game, is being able to see better while up against walls and crouch. And did anyone ever notice this place is laced in gold? I feel like reaching out and ripping that off and stuffing it in my pocket. Say screw the story. Screw the asylum, screw everything, just get the gold and be gone. So here what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and open this door, and there are actually quite a few places where I will open the door ahead of time because it will only benefit me in the long run. So once I do that, I'm going to go ahead, ignore this guy, he doesn't come into play until later, and I'm going to go and open the door to the security room. Now this guy, you want to get his attention. Sometimes he doesn't see you at first, so kind of taunt him a little bit. And then you're going to book it back to that door that I opened up. And from there, what we're going to do is we're going to go into the right jail cell, and I'm going to jump on top of the bed in the back of the room, and then crouch. And you should have enough time where he won't see you go over here. Even if he does, he'll come in here, but he usually never bothers you. I don't think I've ever had him bother me, even if he did come into the jail cell. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to wait for him to leave, and as soon as he opens that door, you're golden. He's gone. You don't have to worry about him the rest of the game. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to actually go back into that security room and press the giant red button that kind of screams, "Don't press me." But just like everything else in this game, we're going to mess with it. And so once we do that, there's going to be a guy, the person who's bashing the guy's face, he's going to come back at you. So I'm going to wait half a second, let him get a little closer, and then I'm going to run across the hall and run past him on the right. Now, he's going to smack you. That's inevitable, and it's okay. But the reason why I waited half a second was because there's that metal frame there, and sometimes you can get stuck on that. Wait, and well, must be Latin or something. So we're going to go ahead and run over here and then jump out the window. And we're going to shimmy along this edge. And since you've obviously played this game before, if you're watching this tutorial and this walkthrough, then you know there's a lot of shimmying, whether you're shimmying through like a crack or on a ledge or just kind of, you know, moving around. You do that. It's pretty much all you do in this game is you run around, you shimmy on stuff, and then you press stuff that you shouldn't really be messing with. And that pretty much sums up this game. Alright, from here we're going to jump up, go through this decontamination chamber, and grab the security key off the guard down here. And off to the left you can see Jaws ripping the head off of some poor bastard who by now is probably wishing he had had a bigger boat. So, but after that we're going to go ahead, back the way we came, hang a left, and through the security door. And so once we go through here, we're going to go ahead and we're going to take a right and follow this path. We're going to jump out the first open window, the one right before the one with the drapes. And we're going to, once again, we're back to shimmying along something. Shimmying along this edge. We're going to go until we reach, I think it's like an air duct or a ventilation shaft, or maybe it's just a downspout, I don't know. But it's it was the only open window. So once you get to the very last open window, you're going to go ahead and jump through that. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take an immediate right and go until we hit the wall. And then we're going to follow along that wall, and you're going to look for a texture glitch, which is a flash of light, and that's going to show you where the door is. And I've noticed it's been there every single time, so it's just one of those things you're going to have to look out for. Once again, opening the door, just, you know, readying myself for what's to come, so that way I don't have to deal with it later. Go ahead and press the big red button that we probably shouldn't be messing with. And then up and through the ventilation shaft. So, well, pretty much at this point, well, A, you left your keys in your car, so you obviously know that you're in some sort of horror movie. Aside from the fact that everything else that you're doing here. But you're going to go ahead and embrace the fact that at some point there's going to be an explosion and flying through a window and some epicness. So once you land on the pile of bodies with the police officer from Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, turn on your camera. I didn't right here, but there's a bed that you got to hurdle over, and I didn't, and it almost cost me. I almost lost it here, but you're going to take it right and hurdle over this railing, and you're going to try to bypass him here. And so we're going to jump over this door, take a right through these doors, and then you can see like the bed frame or something in the light of the next door, so you can tell where that is without having to use your camera. Take a left, another left, and if you haven't realized by now, this game is completely based around taking left turns. If you ever get stuck or you're caught in the dark and you just have to run away from somebody that's attacking you or something, just take a left turn. It's your best bet. You're going to feel like a NASCAR driver by the end of this with how many left turns you have to take. It's actually kind of repetitive, to be honest. But we're going to go ahead, jump up here. This guy's going to jump on you. And I've seen it so many times, y'all are used to it by now. Guy punches him right in the dome sphincter. It looks painful as hell. I'm not going to lie. I wouldn't want to be that guy. But considering the things that, you know, happen to everyone else, I wouldn't want to be any of these people. So what we're going to do is we're going to shimmy along here, and we're going to hurdle, well, not hurdle, we're going to jump over to this other ledge. Now, at the top of these stairs, one time, I blanked on where I was supposed to go, and actually a guy came out and started smacking me in the face. So be sure you know where you're going, or else you're going to have to then start running away from some creep that's going to then try to bash your skull in. And after we deal with that guy, we're going to go ahead and shimmy along here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and crouch and activate my little, like, prone vision to see where I'm going. And so I'm going to crawl through that little hole in the wall, open the door, and then move around here to this lit jail cell, and then fall down in here. Now, this is, it gets pretty dark, and this is one of those places you think you would need your camera, but you really don't. And the way to navigate through this is think like a NASCAR driver. So we're just going to go ahead, we're going straight. Right, we're going straight, everything's good. And then it's like, oh god, a wall, take a left. Right, so you're going straight again. It's like, it's pretty nice, just cruising. Everything's going sweet. And it's a wall, turn left. Right, so you keep going. You're going to fall down a little bit here, but you're going to keep going, and you're going to come up, and there's going to be a pipe. It's a pipe, turn left. Right, so then drop down again, and you come to a wall, and this is the biggest plot twist in the game. You actually make a right turn. And so then you're going to fall off a little ledge and come through the door here, or the wall, I should say. From here, it's pretty self-explanatory. Just follow the path, crawl through the pipes. Once you go out here, you're gonna hit this loading screen. It's inevitable. I don't know if it's to buffer or if it was supposed to be a checkpoint in earlier. I'm assuming it's for buffering, considering it's in all of the difficulties. But it really serves you no purpose here. We're gonna take a right and then shoot ourselves through this crack. Now, this is where we see Jaws again in the sewers. And it's actually really easy to get past them. This is actually really easy to do. So we're going to go ahead and run straight for the right valve. And hurdle over this. And go over here into this room. And I'm going to close the door behind me. And there's a reason to that. And so I'm going to go ahead and turn this valve that, you know, most likely I'm not supposed to be touching. And I'm going to go hide behind this petite little box that really doesn't look like it has any purpose or any reason why it should hide me, considering the fact that there is so much light just illuminating this corner. But as opposed to hiding in a locker, you can't see what's going on and you're confined to that area. And so shelves and desks and stuff, hiding behind those and being able to maneuver around them, we actually use that to our advantage in a lot of situations, especially later in the game. And you'll see that coming up. So now he's here. I'm going to start just kind of crawling a little bit over here very carefully. Try not to make too much noise. And as soon as he turns his back, he's just going to bolt. He didn't even notice me. Right, he's too busy with the locker that you shouldn't be hiding in the first place. So we're going to go ahead over to the other valve. It's going to go over here. There's a little jump you got to make. And another left turn. And then once we go around here, I'm just going to head straight back until you see the light on your right. Make a turn. Shimmy through the crack. you know, hit the valve, yada yada. It's pretty self-explanatory. At this point, you should know what you're doing, and it's really not that difficult. But from here, there's two outcomes, two things that can happen. And once you crawl back through here, you're going to go ahead and you're going to get in that little pipe that you saw on your way down here. And if you manage to make enough noise in that pipe, he'll turn around. And, you know, I've tried a lot of times, and usually he doesn't. This time, I managed to get him to turn around. But most of the time, he will not. And so you have to just follow him as he walks down there. And so I'm going to explain that to you. Is as he's walking down there, you're just going to slowly crawl behind him, follow him. Make sure you keep your distance. But then once you get to this gap, wait for him to get to the other side of the gap, and then make a break for it. And he'll hear you. So be sure to like move around the boxes and make sure he doesn't like snatch you as you're trying to run out and cross the open. But then once you get to the ladder, you're all good. So he could be like right on your ass. You touch the ladder, he forgets about you. And here you can actually just, once you get far enough down, you can just drop down. And I mean, you just press the crash button. Now you're gonna take a right and you're gonna follow the drops of water. And that's all you do. And you follow the drops of water, you take a left, and look, there's more drops. So, oh, where do these lead? And you look over here and the path kind of continues. And it's actually something you gotta hurdle over. I think there's 2 or 3 things you gotta hurdle over down here. A pipe kind of blows in your face a little bit. And that's what she said. And then there's another thing you have to jump over, and then straight up the ladder. And so then once you get through that, I mean, this part is fairly simple. Don't even know the ladder. And then Jimmy says hi again. He's all like, hi. Right, he's like, hi. He follows you around. And he's there until the very end of the game, too. You'll notice him. But we're going to go ahead and climb up this ladder. And then what is coming up is, it's not necessarily difficult, but it's a little bit tricky to navigate. And it's this giant open cesspool that you have to maneuver through. And it's not necessarily too bad. And I'll show you exactly the little tricks of how to navigate through there. And then you don't even have to climb to this ladder. I just say screw it and just jump straight down. And then you're gonna move on over here and watch out for falling bodies. And then I believe there's a tunnel that you're gonna have to crawl through. And once again, you don't need to use your light when you're crawling through this tunnel down here. It's because when you're close enough to a wall, you can see it. So you just kind of, you know, pay attention to the right wall. Notice when it kind of cuts off and jets off to the side, and then just follow that. To get lost in a tunnel like this, it's kind of hard. But like I said, you know, make sure you have your gamma up all the way, so that way it is easier to see when you're up against surfaces. So from here, this is where we're actually going to enter this giant dark cesspool. And as you'll see, you really don't even need your light. So I'm going to head out, walk straight until I hit the railing, and then I'm going to take a left, and I'm going to go straight. Now I'm going to look down the entire time, and what I'm looking for is I'm looking for this shadow, this square shadow, and that's what you want to jump on. So we're going to follow that. You're going to drop down immediately, and then you got to look to your right. There's a staircase, and I tend to miss it, so I pop out my camera eventually to get a quick glimpse of where I'm at. It's really easy to walk past, too. You can get lost in this area right here. So as you see, I'll pop out my camera, spin around, and it's like, okay, I just missed it, and right on up it. So once you get on the stairs, you're going to go straight up those, walk until you hit the railing, and then you're going to follow the railing. We're going to take a right and just hug that the entire way until we drop back down into the water. And what's actually going to happen is we're going to drop back down, and you're going to see this lighted tunnel. And this is where we're going to go. There's actually another box in the water you got to crawl on. We're going to go ahead and crouch, and from here we're going to then move along. We're going to drop down and move along. We're going to move along the left wall here, and there's a little light that you can see down here. We're going to move until we get to that, and then from here it's kind of a little bit on your. You're going to do a 90-degree turn. You're going to keep the light that you see off in the distance. That's the ladder. You're going to keep that kind of off to your right. And now I have Turtle Beaches on. I can actually hear Jaws kind of jangling around and sloshing around in the water. And so and for this part, I'm actually moving as fast as I can without sprinting. And so you can actually move fairly fast through here. Just don't sprint. You don't have to crouch. You don't have to move slowly. Just, you know, go as fast as you can without sprinting. And now once I stop hearing him, that's when I actually just go ahead and sprint for the ladder. I just always want to be safe, you know, make sure not risk it. And then I just go ahead and instead of going up the stairs, I just jump up this ledge, turn around, take a step back to make sure I get a running start, and then up the ladder. Now, here, this is also fairly simple. You kind of just got to kite this guy. I'm going to stop at the second left door right here and lead him in here and then funnel him around. And then I'm going to go to the next set and go to the very last tunnel and then follow this around here. Take another left. No surprise there. Another left. And, well, if you set another left, you hit it on the money. And so then we're going to follow this guy around here. And it gets kind of dark. Just stay to the right, hugging the wall, and then once you see the crack, just go ahead and shoot yourself up through there. And then you're just going to go ahead and head up these stairs. And then you're going to hit another little loading screen. From here, it's pretty self-explanatory. You move a few boxes, head down some hallways. You don't really encounter anything until you go through that. I guess it'd be like a morgue or an autopsy room, some like a place there's a dead body. And you gotta crawl up their events. So you really don't have to worry about anything at this point. Someone banging on the door, just say screw him. I'm coming through here. Push this aside. Once you do that, you're gonna go ahead and hingle left out this door, and then through it's like a vent in the wall. Once you go through that, here you're gonna then up on this table and through that vent. Now this is where it gets you have the chase scene. So what you want to do is just be ready. As soon as you drop through here, you want to go ahead and start moving the like crate that's in front of the door. And so, but here's the thing, you don't actually have to close any of the doors behind you except for the very last one. So we're gonna go ahead, push this out of the way. You're free to close the doors behind you, but you have plenty of time. You have nothing to worry about, to be honest. So we're gonna go ahead, do that, bust through this door, start moving this crate, container-esque thingy. Once you do that, go through the door, make sure you hingle left. And that's always a secret. You go through a door, you do something, hingle left. And what door do I go through? Oh, go to the left. It's, I'm going to crawl through this little vent. Where am I going to go after I drop down? Well, if you said right, obviously you haven't been paying attention, so we're going to take a left. Jump over some obstacles. That little glitch always gets me there sometimes, but it's nothing to worry about. And then you're going to go ahead and make this jump right here. Now be careful. I personally haven't died there. I've watched a couple walkthroughs in making this walkthrough, and I've seen, I've heard people talk about dying in places like that. So take a right here, up through the window. Now, this is the one place that you're actually going to want to close the door behind you. And so the reason why is if you don't, they'll bust through the door, and they'll actually, most of the time, get one hit off on you before you get in the dumbwaiter. And so I just don't like taking that chance. I went ahead and fast forward through this. This is actually, it's like 4.5 minutes. I timed it. It's ridiculous. And I know you guys don't want to sit through it. I mean, you have to sit through it so many times playing the game, going through it. So just, I'll leave you to enjoy his rambling. He just smacks you right in the face. He's just like, fuck this, I'm gone. So you're gonna whack yourself out of that. Grab the camera, and okay, now we're back in business. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through here. This guy wants to talk to you, so you're gonna, oblige by his wishes, and mainly for the fact that he's gonna make enough noise to distract what's his face, Mr. Scissor Claus. And so we're gonna go hide in this corner. I'm gonna sit I sit in front of that little table there that's behind me, and we're just gonna play the waiting game. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull a Houdini on this guy, and we're not gonna do it once, but actually twice. And this, like a lot of the other places, it's really scripted, and it's really easy to manipulate and get around this, and it's not hard. I mean, if you're just running through it frantically trying to do stuff, then yes, it can be kind of scary. So what we're going to do is we're going to wait for this guy to actually come into view. Once he's past those pillars, we're just going to turn around and book it. Go to the left. Hang a right, and up through that vent. Now, here is another one of those scenes where you'll actually see me moving this out of the way. And it's one of those, you know, I made enough time for myself right now where I can actually move this and not have to worry about it later. So I'm going to do that, open this door, and that just leads me back to the elevator. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to head down here, take the first left, and run to the back right of the room and open this door. And then I'm going to turn around until I get Mr. Scissor Claw's attention. So I'm just going to kind of dance out here a little bit. And once you hear the music, and there you go, and so you go ahead and you run back to this room. Now, what I'm going to do is this is the one place you actually want to close this door right behind you. And then go around here and start pushing this out of the way. And you have plenty of time to do this, don't worry. If you worry, you're only going to get scared. And they tied up poor Jimmy. Poor Jimmy. Ah, breaks my heart every time I see him. And we're just going to go ahead and climb back into the ventilation shafts. Now, I don't know if anyone else noticed this, but I'm expecting like some Tom Clancy, you know, Splinter Cell, like crawling through the vents or something. But your guy's like crouching. You're like, what's up with his leg? It's like, that just looks extremely uncomfortable. So we're going to fall down, take a left, and we're going to open the right door. Now, this is also crucial. You want to make sure you open the right door there. Hop through here, grab the key, and just run back to that door. And if you guessed it already, we're going to play another Houdini. So we're going to sit, we're going to wait, and then as soon as you see him get to those pillars up there, we're just going to go ahead and book it from the way from which he came. So we're going to wait for that. And wait a little bit, and bam, he's at the pillars, and so we're just going to go ahead and make a break for it. Didn't even notice me. Heading back this hallway, hang a left, and then I don't have to worry about that crate. I moved it out of the way when I dropped out of the first what are those things called? Ventilation shafts. Of course. Anyways, he's a persistent little son of a bitch. Tries to come get you, and he's hacking and whacking, and he's trying to be smacking, but he's just ain't. And poor, you know, Scissor Claws here just gets crushed. And it's a shame that those things fall down, because, you know, I'd love to just like decapitate somebody with that. Looks like it's a lot of fun to use. I can see why he got into his career field. So we're going to jump up here, go ahead and mosey on way over here, take a right, and head down this hallway, take a left, down the stairs. And then from down here, we're going to shimmy ourselves through this little crack and to the back right of the room, where there is a door. And so through here, and Father, what's his face, West Bureau is over here talking smack. So I'm going to hug this wall, and you're going to then go ahead and whenever it cuts the corner, you're going to follow it. And I believe there's a jump here and another jump. To be honest, I don't really remember what was here. I was stuck in the dark and I didn't know what was going on, and somehow I managed to find a door. So I mean, if you have to use your light there, I mean, it's okay. We're still going to end with a quarter of battery on our camera. And, you know me, like, I'm not using a guide as I go through here, so, you know, sometimes I get lost, sometimes I make a wrong turn in a chase scene, and I mean, you know, it's, you know, don't panic, take your time, you know. From here, we're gonna jump up here, and we're gonna go into this burning kitchen. If I knew they were gonna have a bonfire, I would have brought that chair from earlier that I got hung up on, maybe stopped by the library and had a good old-fashioned burning. And you walk through here, and you're like, I put my hands up in the air sometimes. And so we mosey on our way through here, and we got to activate the sprinklers. And sprinklers, fairly easy. It's a lot of running, a lot of, you know, tricking out jaws, and it's actually fairly simple. It's, you know, none of these are too difficult actually to deal with. So as soon as you go through here, we're just gonna go ahead and make a break for the first water valve. So come through here, and after we go through there, we're gonna make a right, and then another right. 2 rights in a row. It's a new record. And I'm going to close that door. And there's a reason why I do that. And so I'm going to come back in here, open the valve. And then this is where things get a little it's a little sketchy. You may not want to do this. You may, it's up to you. But anyways, this goes back to like hiding behind the shelves and kind of kiting the guy. So there he is, and I lure him around here. And what I do is I go back here and I turn around, And, you know, sometimes he'll chase you, you know, occasionally he'll stop right there. If he stops right there, that's perfectly fine. You can easily run past him. Doesn't even notice. But, you know, it's to get him to chase you around there. You know, you might want to even use your camera at that point. I mean, it's one of those, you know, practice it a few times and get used to it. And, you know, doing it, even though, you know, he may chase me around one way, chase me around the other way, or stop right there, or stop, you know, sometimes in the middle where I got to then, you know, jump up and down and get his attention. But do it enough until you feel confident where you can just, you know, sit there and toy with him. And that's what it's all about. It's being able to go through this with confidence, saying, you know I can do this. No matter what happens, I can get through this. I know how to handle each situation. And so then for this last little part here, we're going to stand out in the spotlight and be like, hey. And then we're going to lure him over here, cut right back through the room that he just came from. And like a kid with ADHD, he's just going to say, fuck it, and he found something more interesting than us. Maybe he actually found a little piggy. So we're going to activate the sprinklers. The sprinklers always throw me off a little bit. It made me jump the first couple times I played this game. And we're going to go ahead, head back through here. Doors, jump over that, jump over that. And now there's this guy, and he's actually sitting around the corner. You can actually see him sitting around the corner, but I sympathize with him. I mean, if I had a haircut that bad, I would be pretty pissed. You know, I'm not going to lie. Now, I know what you're all thinking. It's the outside part. We're going to use up all our battery here, blah, blah, blah. No. It's really simple, actually. We're going to go through here. You know there's a shed off to the left. Just take a left and look for the little glowing light. Just start heading in that direction. You'll find it. You're not going to get lost. I mean, if you do, you can pop out your camcorder for half a second. But, I mean, at this point, you've played it enough. You know what's going on. And so we're just going to head straight across the courtyard out from that door to the other light. And that's the door that we need to open. And so we're going to head over here and open this up. And open that door. And then there's a door to our right. It's already open, so one time I've actually closed it on myself, and I was confused. And you're going to walk down this hallway, and there's going to be another door. You're going to open that. And this is going to be the wall rider. He's actually going to kind of, like, poke you in the face with his penis, and you're just going to be like, ah! It's in my hair. And then you're just going to climb up this ladder and say whatever. That was, yeah, that fun stuff, right? So we're going to climb up this ladder, and kind of using the lightning, the lights, you can kind of tell where the edge of the building is. And so I'm just going to kind of carefully walk along here until I see the crack. And actually with the lightning flash, I knew where the crack was, and so I'm just going to go ahead and jump over that. Now, from here I use the camera continuously for about, 7 seconds as I get over here to this ledge. And actually what I did is you can tell where the building is and when you're shimming across the ledge. By the lightning and by how the rain is. And if you notice, like, there's a solid black area. There's a difference between where the rain is and where the building is, and you can tell that. However, here I jumped down too soon. I was, I guess, in a hurry, a little anxious, and I kind of got lost. And so, actually, no, if you do this or you get lost somewhere and you have to use a little extra battery, that's okay. Even after messing up, like, I had no idea where I was. I'm turning around, I'm looking in circles. I was lost, and I used my battery, and I was perfectly fine. I still ended with a quarter battery left. So if you get lost for a little bit, you have to use it, or you use it a little bit more than I use it, that's perfectly fine. Feel free. You're going to have plenty of battery left over at the end of the game. Just be conservative with it. And so, just heading back through here. Kind of do the same thing, so yeah, I'll just shut up and let you play the game. Once again, getting back over here, and I cut the camera off because I know that there's a ledge there, and you can see the distinction between where the rain and the ledge is, and so that's why I actually shut my camera off so early. If you want to keep it on a little longer, so be it. It's just, I've done it so many times. I did this like 8 times in a row trying to do it, and then I just drop down whenever I'm over here. There's actually a walkway or something that you can jump onto, and it's a little, and I'm stuck on something else. It's probably a bucket this time. Might be that chair. It's haunting me. It's stalking me. Just going to jump up here, climb up, and up over this ledge. Now, you're going to go just to the left side of this wall and head straight until you hit a fence. and you're going to just move a little bit to the right of that till you're past it, and go straight until you smack into another wall. And then from this point, it's probably best just to pull your camera out. There are some stairs to your right, and you're going to head up those. I tried navigating it without it, and as you can see, yeah, it didn't go so well. So I'm just like, screw this, and I pull out my camcorder eventually. I'm a stubborn little shit, I know. There we go. Well, actually, I made it through to the fences over to that little doorway, and that's just right in front of you, right at the top of the stairs. And so I'm going to go ahead and drop down through there. Now this, you got to be careful. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to mosey myself. I'm going to hug this wall the entire time. And the thing you got to be careful about is, like back in the sewers where I said, oh, you can move as fast as you can without sprinting. You can't do that here. It might just be better to crawl. Me, I'm barely pushing forward on the joystick to move. So that's one of the things. And I'm, you know, having Turtle Beaches, I can hear him off on the side. I hear what he's doing, and it kind of gives me a little bit of a warning of what's going on. Like if I hear him start getting a little closer or him say something, then I know something, you know, shit's hit the fan, and I got to just start booking it, start making a run for it. You know, however, I have never had that happen. So if you just take your time, go, you know, a little slower, maybe even crouch, you'll be perfectly fine. So we're going to go up here. There's a ledge over on the left, and we're just going to shimmy along that for like a good 30 seconds. And so, you know, there's some lightnings that will show them, but I mean, you just kind of follow this for a while. And then once you see like the black to your right, where you're not seeing any rain, you're up against the wall there, and you're just gonna hold forward and press A and jump down. And I always get confused. I'm always lost as soon as I jump down here. I don't know where I'm at. I'm running corners and moving, and I don't even know. But eventually, you're gonna find the gazebo that's out in front of you, and once you find that, you're gonna walk around it counterclockwise until you find the light, and you're gonna activate Jaws. And once he starts chasing, you're gonna move to your right and move around the gazebo counterclockwise again. And you're just going to do that until you see the light, and you're just going to make a break for the little tunnel. And so we're going to run over here, we're running, and we're just going to make a right and crawl right through there. And it's just really that simple. Don't panic. You know what you need to do, you know where you have to go. It's not that difficult. Just, you know, sometimes take your time where you need to, and then other times run like a little bitch. And, you know, a smart man knows when to run like a little bitch. So... But other than that, I believe this is what, the female ward now? That's what we're in. So I'm going to hug this right wall, move around a pipe. There's something I think I have to jump over right here. And then once I'm over that, the wall is going to cut the corner here, and I'm going to head straight down. And I'm actually going to move to the left side of the wall. There's going to be something I have to move around, maybe not. But then I'm going to shimmy through here. So it's hug the right until it cuts the corner, and then hug the left until it cuts the corner, and you're going to shimmy through that. And then go through here, and this is actually leads you down to where the that little dumbwaiter thing drops the body and the key. Now you can use your camcorder. I always get stuck in that door. I don't use it though. I've done it so many times. I practice this place enough. So we're gonna go ahead and jump up here, and through this door. I'm gonna take a left. And now one thing I look for is the little blood splat. It kind of reflects, and it's easy to see. The right door is open. And you got to jump somewhere there, so you just kind of walk and press the A button, and then you're going to see like the red light. And so you really don't have to use your light there once you've done it enough and you know what you're doing. But other than that, we're not going to touch anything there. We're going to head straight through the other counter and move straight back for this door. Now, we're going to go ahead, run over here, pick up this fuse, and then we're going to go stand on the other side of this bed. And this is one of those, you know, we're in a hurry. We want to get this done. We're not going to stand around and just wait. And so we're going to wait for this guy to come running in here. And what we're going to do is we're just going to run past him. Sometimes he'll come in, he'll go to the right, he might stand there, he'll come over and check under the bed. And I think that's what he does in this one, is he comes over and checks under the bed this time, actually. Maybe because I was making noise or something. But, you know, I'm sitting here, I'm ready to kite him. With whichever way he comes, you know, I'm ready to move. But he checks under the bed, so that gives me time to run. And you want to close the door behind you, and you want to trap him in there. And so this is going to give you enough time to go ahead and make it to the other side where the other two keys are. Or the other two fuses, excuse me. So, head back through here, through this counter. Want to leave all these doors open. At this point, you know, you can use your camera to get through here. I always get lost in here, so feel free to do so. There's something you got to jump over. And I always head to my right first. That's just how I operate. And so I'm going to pick up this fuse, and I'm going to turn around, and I'm going to actually, sometimes he'll be there, sometimes he won't. It depends. This time he wasn't. And what I'll do is I'll actually turn around, and there's a desk in the center of that room, straight in front of the door, that I'll flag him, or I'll kite him around, and, you know, just dance around until I can trap him in there and then run over here. And then, essentially, this guy, he just walks. He just kind of, I don't know, makes weird sounds in your general direction as he kind of just creeps on you with that, I believe it's a cleaver. And so you just kind of walk around this room, but you're waiting for that other guy to come, that guy that was chasing you earlier, and you'll hear the sound, the music will change, and he'll say something, and anyways, that's what we're waiting for right here, is to get this other guy to come in here. We're going to trap them both in here, and then make a break for the fuse box. And so as you notice, music intense, he said something, and so I'm just going to go ahead, turn around, and close the door. And the reason why I said not to close any of those other doors ahead of time is because I have actually made it through here, and I have missed closing 3 of the 4 doors. And so, you know, I closed that first door this time, and then I closed this last door. That's what I generally do. I like to close 2 of the doors so it gives me enough time to put the fuses in there and everything. But like I said, I have missed all the doors except for the last one time. So that's why I try to keep them intact just in case I'm having a bad day. With all the fuses in place, I head back the way from which I came. And, you know, feel free to use your camcorder. Like I said, you should be doing good on battery by now. I don't check my battery very often because I don't use my camcorder very often, so I can't tell you where you should be or a quota. But, you know, as long as you still have, you know, at least a quarter of your battery left at this point, you shouldn't have a problem. You know, you might have to be a little conservative, but at this point, you're going to want to make sure you beat that guy. He's going to come busted through that door. So you might want to use your camera to get out of there as soon as you pick up the key. Make sure you make that jump. If you don't, I've never missed that jump with that guy chasing me. I wouldn't know what would happen. I would assume you'd have a bad day. That's all I could say about that. And you can marvel at my hardcore parkour skills. And so we're up. We're gonna go ahead and hing a right here, and then we're gonna hing another right. I almost walked past it. Generally, I will walk past this. I caught myself this time. So we're just gonna, you know, mosey ourselves. We're gonna mosey ourselves on over here, and then we're just gonna jump over. Pretty much, I mean, it only gets easier from here, really. The floor collapses. You just head straight from there, and then just go right and jump up on the beds. I did that, and something weird happened. I don't know. It like threw me off the other. I have no idea what happened, and I kind of got lost for a second. I was really confused. I've never had that happen to me before, but I think it just threw me over the other side of it. And so then here I go at it again, jumping up and up. And it's nothing fairly difficult. I think the game just had an issue with it that one time. Don't fall in that crack again. Yeah, that's pretty embarrassing if you do. I've done it a few times with that. So yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead, keep following this. The wall rider's gonna come out. You can follow him, save a little bit on battery, follow the lights too. And then here you're gonna want to keep the camcorder open. And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna run past the 2 Dixie twins over here, and on over to this door, and we're just gonna jump across this gap. Now coming up, this is the part where you drop your camera. And this is one of those places where I would highly recommend you practice this. It is because this is also one of those places where you can save on battery life. When you go down and you get your camera, and from the time you get back up here, you never have to turn it on. And that's what it comes down to, is places like this, being able to practice them, being able to have them down, so that way you know the routine, you know what you have to do, so you actually save on that battery life. And so, like I said, I would highly recommend saving and practice, mainly running back without using your battery after you pick up your cameras, running back from there back up here. But I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna head on down there, and this is just pretty self-explanatory. So I'll, you know, save your ear from having to listen to me ramble in my drivel of this and that and other garbage. So. So also from whenever I just sprint out here and I pick up the camera. I don't think I'm pretty sure they don't attack you until you pick up the camera. But once I pick it up, I leave the night vision on, but I just put the camera away because if I ever do get stuck, then I just throw the camera up really quickly. And so that might also be something, you know, practicing with, you know, just keep the camera, the night vision on, but have it ready to go in case you do get stuck or you do get lost or you're like, oh, where am I supposed to go? Or you run into a black wall or something. You know, be prepared. So we're going to go through here, hurdle over this, take a left, up here, and another left. And then back through the little hole right here in the wall. And like I said, you know, I've ran through that so many times where I don't even have to use the battery at all. And so that's, you know, that's one of those places it's gonna save you. I don't even know, I was stuck on the wall or something. Stepped on my shoelace. So gonna crawl up here, and you're gonna want to use your light because there's a gap you want to jump. And once you jump that, you're pretty much in the clear. Now, I know in some videos people will actually jump that gap. But I've known a few times, occasionally, you can actually die if you do it wrong. So I've just decided to avoid that. We've made it this far. You know, let's not be reckless. So after we squeeze through here, Jaws is going to come barreling down here. And so, well, actually not barreling because I actually don't think he ever spots me. Oh, wait, never mind. It's a loading screen. Heavens forbid. Okay, so back to this. You're going to run down here, and I think it's the third door on your left, and it's ajar, and you can see that, and you're just going to bust through there. Sometimes you won't necessarily bust through it, so you'll have to open it manually, but you're going to jump up here and head to your right. Now, so after this, I mean, there's a document off to the right. Don't even worry about it. We're going to go up here. We're going to push Obama out of the ventilation shaft here. And then once we push him down, we're going to go ahead and make our way down here and open the door to our right. And then from here on out, you really don't have to worry about anything except for escaping Jaws one more time. It's fairly simple. The movie theater itself is extremely easy. You don't even have to use your light at all. I never did. I mean, there is the place wherever you have to move between the two doors trying to get the guy out of the projector room. And as you can see, I walk up against stuff and I crouch and I use that kind of like, you know, being up against stuff vision that you get from having your gamma really high, or if it's just in the game or whatever, and I use that just to kind of navigate through the darker rooms. But other than that, if you didn't know, that over there, that piano man, that was actually Billy Joel, and he's been here for the longest time, and he's been here ever since. Well, he claims he didn't start the fire, but we all know differently. So we're gonna go through this door, and on up around here. And this is, you know, just kind of heading between the two cobwebs, and I just crouch, and you'll head straight under a counter, or some boxes, or a table, or something. You just walk forward until you see a door, open that, and you're golden. Go up there. Jimmy kind of screams at you. Where you going, Jimmy? And so then, yeah, pretty self-explanatory. You've been through this before. And we're gonna once again shimmy along some edge that seems like it should be in maybe an Assassin's Creed game or a Splinter Cell or something, but something that your average day reporter with a camcorder could definitely not do. Not saying that it definitely couldn't do. I'm just saying the fact that he's been shimmying along these all night, and then to make this jump, that's just. I guess it's a game. So he picks up the key. Gonna move on from there. Head back this way, underneath through the table once again, and back down the stairs and from whence we came. Now, one of the Dixie twins is gonna come busting through the door, so we're gonna go ahead and run right over to this corner, and we're just gonna hide and let him come busting through there and just, you know, mosey his way on to the projector. So be careful. You'll get hung up on this door sometimes. I mean, I never got killed doing it, but you know, it's just one of those things to be wary of. So we're gonna go on upstairs to the church area and see what Father Westboro is up to. And then once we get to the kitchen, there's this room that just kind of makes you want to ponder the questions of life and the universe, and you just kind of say, whatever, and you just kind of move on. And I mean, if you're in more, you know, you're playing through the game, first time you see it, like, maybe it kind of hits you right in the feels. It's like, whoa, this is kind of deep. Maybe not. Maybe it's just a game. I don't know. Anyways, on the left side, we're looking for a room that ends in the number 6, and it was like 326, I believe, and that's the one that has this open window. So we're going to go ahead and, once again, shimmy ourselves along this edge. You can hear the church bells in the background. It sounds like Westboro is gathering for another cult meeting. And so let's go, you know, see what they're up to. So we're going to go through here, take a right. Dixie Twins are going to greet us. And actually, you know, one time I've actually made it this far and accidentally reloaded the batteries right here. I mean, it wasn't one of my better nights. I almost broke my controller. We won't go there. So anyways, as soon as he sets him on fire, and he's all like, you're just going to stand there and watch me burn. Right, yeah. So after that, as soon as that little new objective pops up, you're free to go. And then there were a few ways to do this. I actually got killed by this guy twice. Once, as soon as you drop down, you go to the right, and then you take the first door on the right, and you hide in this bathroom stall. And I've actually had him bust in on me one time, and I'm like, I'm not taking that risk again. So I run all the way back, and I do what I'm good at, and I don't hide. I actually then go ahead and kite him around in this room. So I close this door, and I open, well, I get ready till he's banging on that one. And then I open this one in anticipation of what's going to happen. So, and I've actually, see what's actually happened is then I made sure that he actually followed me through there, because I've actually had him grab me at that other door that he busted down in the first place. So I'm going to go through here, hang a right. Going to go all the way down to the last door on the left, go through there. That's the kitchen once again. Watch out for the pillars and the chairs and all those other junks in your way. So jump on the vending machine, up through the vent, and you're going to go ahead and drop down. And once you're through here, you're pretty much in the clear, because the elevator is right there, and you're just going to go ahead and mosey yourself on down there. Alright, now this part, it's actually fairly, well, it's a loading screen. Okay, so this part is actually fairly simple. I mean, there's not much room for error. And the reason why I say that is because I've been caught on the staircases many times by the wall rider. It's, you know, everything will be going good, and then there's that, like, 37 flights of stairs you gotta climb, and he'll catch me, like, almost at the top of that or something. And I'll be sprinting the whole way, but you know, it's just, there isn't much room for error, but as you'll see later up, I do make a slip up trying to take a shortcut that fails, but, you know, I still have plenty of time. I'll discuss that more when I get to it. So we're going to head down to the end of this hallway, and what we actually want to do is we actually want to trigger the lockdown. And so, I'm always, like me, I'm in anticipation, I know what's going to happen, so, you know, I turn my back to it, and I kind of mosey myself on in there until I activate, so that way I'm already facing the way that I want to be sprinting. And I'm just heading down here, you know, mashing the jump button whenever I need to, getting over that, getting over this, and then on to these double doors. Now, I can physically not describe to you the amount of joy that came to me whenever I saw this 2-ton semi-truck size pig fanatic get booty raped by the wall rider, and then, you know, cheese grated into a ventilation shaft. I mean, it was just like tears of joy, and I was just so satisfied. I was like, the wall rider could kill me now, and I would be perfectly content with this. I would be perfectly satisfied. The sound of him just getting squeezed into there, just, ugh. But hey, no more Jaws, right? So we're gonna go run down to Stephen Hawking's room, or this would be more like Professor X, since he doesn't sound like he's having sex with the speaking spell. And I'll just go ahead and skip this conversation for you. And finally, he releases us from his torturous grasp of conversation and rambling dribble and just backstory that we don't care about at this point. So now what's going to happen is the wall rider's going to come busting out of the door down here, and we're just going to go ahead and ignore him and bust out through this door. He's not going to catch you. So pretty much here the goal is just to keep moving. You have a decent lead on him. He's not going to catch you. So, I mean, every time I go up these stairs, I always want to take a left, and I almost did. Good thing I didn't. And don't make that mistake. I haven't done that yet, but every time I want to. But coming up here, we're right at the end. So we're going to go through these doors, and it's going to lead us into the main bubble room. And as you'll see, the first thing I do is when I go in here is I run down there and I pick up the document on that control panel. The reason why I do that is because even though it's never happened to me, I have a fear of instead of pressing that button at the very last second, I'm going to pick up that document and the wall rider's going to kill me right then and there. And, you know, that's never happened to me, but I feel like that's happened to somebody. And I kind of feel sorry if that ever did. So, just to prevent that from ever happening to me, because Lord knows my luck is not that great. I always pick up that document. So we're going to go head up here, and you'll see me actually, after we turn this knob that, you know, another knob that clearly says do not turn. Once again, we're breaking all these rules, rummaging around through all their crap and messing with stuff we shouldn't be. I tried to jump on the other side of these little pipes down to the lower level. And I try a couple times, and as you can see, I fail. I fail, and I spent about, you know, a couple seconds there that I've wasted. And at this point, I'm actually kind of panicking. You know, I'm worried the wall rider is going to catch me at some point, or he's going to get me going up those 37 flights of stairs. But he never does, surprisingly enough. So even though I kind of fumbled that, you know, I wouldn't even bother. Don't even bother with trying to do that. Just skip that and just move on. And then, hey, look, Jimmy's back one last time. It's good to see that he made it to the end. I'm glad to know that, you know, he'll be joining us for the finale. So we're going to go ahead and run up here, up the stairs, squeeze through the little crack. And I believe there's a decontamination chamber, maybe. No, that's at the top. So we're not going to get that. We're going to bust through this door. So screw that. Now at this point, if you made the poor life choice decision of putting your controller to the layout B, where you use the joystick to sprint, and it's like Bad Company 1 where you have to hold the joystick in, you're feeling it by now in your thumb. You're gonna have a callus there, and if this is, you know, if you've tried multiple times in a row, you're gonna be feeling it at this point. You're just gonna be like, good God, is it like anymore? And so you're gonna go up here, and then this here, you know, this is where I use the last of my battery. I mean, I never use it fully up, but I just want to make sure I get through this because the wall rider, he is right on your ass. And so I'm just get to the decontamination, and that's your goal. So pretty much once you get to here, you're home free, because you made the jump, you made it past all the hard parts, and I mean, you really, you can practically start celebrating. I haven't. I mean, I guess the only other place you could fail is after he throws you down the 37 flights of stairs. You happen to maybe not sprint fast enough from there to the control panel, and which is why I picked up the document, because I always had a fear of, you know, that killing me. You know, not making it to that control panel in time. All I had to do was press one fucking button. You spend like half a day, you know, trying to get this achievement. So, but you know, he's gonna throw me all up and down here. I'm not gonna lie, it looked like that hurt. It looked like it really hurt. And yet he runs perfectly fine, if not faster. So then the wall rider, music gets intense, which leads me to believe that he's right behind you. So, like I said, I always had a fear of not reaching this button. But I get up here and voila. So I go ahead and I fast forward it, and you watch him get raped by it one more time. And then he spends like 30 minutes trying to climb out of this place. And I fast forwarded it, and you know, it helps, but it's still really slow. You know, I probably should have fast forwarded more before doing the commentary. And, you know, and he looks like he's tripping all over himself. And so, you know, eventually he makes it here. He gets shot in the face, and then he gets shot in the face like 12 more times after that. And so then after that, we're going to go ahead and we're going to see the achievements pop up. And here we go, there's one. And it's the Lunatic for completing it on Insane. It is the Claustrophobe for not hiding under a bed or in a locker. And last but not least, the crowning jewel, Energizer. And there you have it. Thanks for watching.